turret to be able to point at the mouse. And I'll use this, this fairly simple trick of creating a state machine on this game object. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look for a mouse pick, which should be in input. And there's a lot of different kinds of input outside of what we've already looked at. And one of them that can be really useful is a mouse pick. And I'll show you what's going on with the mouse pick. So the mouse pick has this ray distance. And what that means is that from the mouse point projected in the camera, in the direction of world space, it's going to cast a ray perpendicular to our screen from wherever the point of the mouse is. So the result is that a ray is getting cast out from our camera. And a ray is, you can think of it like a laser pointer, and whatever that pointer hits, it's going to return information back to us about what we're hitting. So right now I'd be over the ground. Right here I'd be over a wall. Okay? And the ray distance is how much distance off into space that ray will cast and detect things. So if it's farther than 100 meters away, it won't detect anything. So I'm going to fill out these variables just for debugging. This did you pick game object. I'm going to roll over this. It'll tell me what type of the data this is. So it's a bool. And I'm just going to do a few of these. I'll call this did pick obj. So I'm just going to create a couple variables so we can see stuff. Storing the game object. I'm going to do this just so that we can see the name of the game objects that we're picking. I'll call this pick obj. The most important one here for this technique is the store point. So I'll call this the mouse pick point or pick point, and that's a vector 3. And we're going to do this every frame. So, for this, the only thing I really need is the pick point, but I wanted to debug some of this stuff so you can see what else is going on. I'll hit the play button. And I'm going to roll the mouse around and watch what happens to debug. So true is saying, yeah, we have an object picked. And the object that we're picking right now is the ground, because that's the name of the object that my mouse is over based on casting this ray. And the coordinates in world space is here. So when I roll my mouse around, you'll see the mouse pick points start to float around. Okay, they have a position in space wherever that ray and that game object are intersecting. If I roll over the wall, it's telling me I'm over top of the wall 531. Here's another wall. There's another wall. There's the outside wall. So you can see it's telling me what the game objects are. It's also saying it's true, I did pick something, but if I roll off into negative space, I'm false. I'm not picking a game object because there's nothing back there. The ray has nothing to interact with. Here I do, okay? So I'm getting some data out of here. The thing that I want to do is I want to have the turret look at the result of the pick. Okay? So I'm going to go into state 1, and I'm going to go into transform, and we have this smooth look at action. We've used that before. So I'll find smooth look at, click, click, and the target position, I'm going to grab the pick point that I'm storing from the mouse input. Okay, out of the box this should work. I shouldn't need to change this because the game object is the turret, and that's why I wanted to mock this up on the turret itself. I'll hit the play button and see if we get the results that we want. Okay, so now this turret is basically looking. What it's really doing is looking at the intersection of where the ray and the game object are hitting, but we are telling it not to, by default, it says keep vertical, meaning that it's not going to allow its X or Z to rotate. Only its Y is going to rotate. Okay, so now I have this. Now, if only my projectile was working properly, I should be able to point and fling projectiles in the direction that I'm pointing. Okay.
Does it fire if you hold it down or when you click?
It's mouse down. So the action that we were listening for on player.
Okay. I just wanted to know whether you were whether it was machine gun or.
Yeah, and we could definitely machine gun it. We have a rate of fire issue right now, which is as quick as I could mash the. I can kind of spam this with lots of projectiles. So if we put a delay on here, you know, if we put a delay on here, then we would have a rate of fire restriction. Okay? Bless you. I could add a, you know, a bounce to this ball so I can ricochet off of things. Right now, because you know, it's not as interesting because it's not spawning in the right direction. So maybe I will mock up really quickly Emmanuel's suggestion, which is getting the world rotation of the spawn object and transferring that to the projectile. But that's, again, I don't. That's not my first choice. Okay.